Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the University of Adelaide's graduation ceremony. This afternoon's ceremony is for graduates from the Faculty of Professions, the School of Architecture and Built Environment and the Business School. The ceremony will commence shortly. We do have a contract photographer who will provide a photography service during the ceremony. If you do wish to take photos from your seats, please do so without a flash. To maintain the ceremony's decorum, could you please switch off your mobile phones or turn them to silent? For safety reasons, I ask that you keep the aisles clear and the upstairs galleries clear, and you do not sit on the steps in the balcony area. In the event of an emergency, please follow the instructions of your ushers and also security. We'll be back with you shortly. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the academic procession. It's about to enter the hall. Please remain standing for the Australian National Anthem. You're encouraged to join in the singing. The text of the anthem is on page 2 of your program. Please remain standing for the academic procession. Thank you.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, at every stage, advance Australia there. In joyful strains, then let us sing and dance Australia
I, Robert Murray Hill, Chancellor of the University of Adelaide, declare open this congregation convened for the purpose of presenting degrees. Distinguished guests, parents, relatives, friends, and especially graduates, welcome to the University of Adelaide's graduation ceremony. I wish to acknowledge the Kaurna people, the original custodians of the Adelaide Plains, the land upon which the University of Adelaide's campuses at North Terrace, Waite, Theberton and Roseworthy are built. Graduates, your graduation is an event in which you and your family and friends can take great pride. It's also a source of pride and satisfaction for the University of Adelaide. Graduation Day is an opportunity for you to reflect both on the past and on the future. This may well be a very significant change in direction in your life. Whatever directions your life may take, the skills that you have acquired and developed here will stand you in good stead, not only in your working and professional life, but in life generally. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce to you today's graduation orator, Mr. Steve Grieve. Mr. Grieve is a director of Grieve Gillett Architects based in Adelaide. He's had extensive experience in a broad range of projects, including health, transport, remote projects and education, as well as a long involvement with arts organisations, both as an architect and as a board member. Current projects include the new Royal Adelaide Hospital as Urban Design Director, the Adelaide Central School of Art, and wellbeing centres in the APY lands in remote northwest of South Australia. He's recently completed the Adelaide Studios for the South Australian Film Corporation. Mr. Grieve is an Australian Business Arts Foundation counsellor and a member of the boards of the Adelaide College for the Arts and the Little Big Book Club Incorporated. He's also a Director of Regional Arts Australia and Chair of the Country Arts SA. Mr. Grieve has served on various boards and committees, including Urban Myth Theatre of Youth and Experimental Art Foundation, the Arts Industry Council and Arts SA's Cultural Facilities Committee. In 2008, he received the prestigious Winston Churchill Fellowship that sent him to Europe to study several cities that form part of the European Capitals of Culture program. We're privileged to hear him speak today. Please welcome Mr. Steve Grieve.
Chancellor, the Honourable Robert Hill, Vice-Chancellor Professor Warren Bebbington, distinguished guests, members of staff, and especially the graduates. It is indeed an honour to have been asked to address you today. Like most people in this position, I can't help reflecting on my own circumstances nearly 40 years ago. I thought that it might be worthwhile to reflect on the lessons, influences and values that I've carried with me from that time. I studied architecture at the University of New South Wales from 1969 until 1974. I did 2 3-year degree courses in architecture. There is no doubt that I was influenced markedly by my tutors at the time, and probably most by practising architect Bill Lucas, an unsung hero of the Australian architectural scene. Bill was committed to the idea of the solo architect in mass society. However, unlike many of his then contemporaries, Bill never lost sight of the idea of the architect as a maker of prototypes, the continuous experimenter. He believed that we must push boundaries at every opportunity. He taught us that all work is purposeful and encouraged us to design at the edge of the possible, a concept more readily actually associated with painters and sculptors. He taught us to strip everything back to its essentials, use materials efficiently, always question assumptions, don't have preconceptions about outcomes, be open-minded. All of this in the context of the 70s oil crisis, Australia's involvement in Vietnam, conscription, moratoriums, protests. It was a time when many of us questioned about everything. And we probably tried just about everything. We went to architecture student conferences in Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney. I even caught a passenger liner to a conference in Auckland where we had to take our own shelter. We of course took the makings of a 6-metre diameter geodesic dome that we fabricated in the ballroom of the good ship Oriana, much to the puzzlement of the other passengers, I might add. I even went to the Aquarius Festival in Nimbin in northern New South Wales. It was designed to start an alternative lifestyle community. I learned a lot there too. There were many large and controversial projects in Sydney at the time that proposed sweeping changes to inner suburbs. Potts Point, Woolloomooloo, the Rocks were all marked for massive high-rise developments. I lived in Woolloomooloo at the time, and I became involved also in the Save the Rocks campaign and got to understand the importance of cohesive communities. Many of the people living in the Rocks at that time had been there for several generations. And it wasn't until I got involved in that I understood the depth of that involvement amongst that community. It was this experience that led me to question the role of architects and architecture in the context of social change. So in summary, what I took from my university years, in addition to technical skills, were the values, the relationships, collaborations with tutors and peers, the need to question, to explore, always keeping an open mind, and above all, keep learning, keep informed. Architecture is not just about sitting behind, well, it used to be a drawing board, now it's a desk. Get out and look and listen carefully and travel. So how has that played out in my own practice? Well, coming out of university, I was full of ideas, as you could probably tell, and bristling with enthusiasm to be involved in positive social change via architecture. My first real job was with the Public Works Department of New South Wales. I was thrown into the deep end and had to paddle very, very hard, I can tell you, to stay afloat. After 4 years there, for which I am forever grateful, I also did private projects in a studio at night with mates. I came to Adelaide for a break. I was effectively swimming against the tide. Many people from Adelaide were going in the opposite direction, and I'm still happily here. Like a number of middle-sized practices in South Australia, my current practice has evolved gradually over the last few decades. We have tended to work in the public sphere with arts communities, sporting groups, school communities, regional and remote communities. I believe we have continued to grow because we have been competitive, productive and responsive to our market. At a practical level, our size allows us to be flexible and adaptable to changing economic landscapes, technologies and professional practice requirements. At the same time, we value keeping abreast of knowledge and developments abroad and regard these as central to long-term sustainability. We work hard to maintain continuing engagement with design schools, attendance at conferences and ongoing professional development. The lineage of these values that underpin my practice is clear to me. These principles of working with communities, respect for place, appropriate environmental responses, and economic use of materials and energy, of course, transportable to wherever you wish to practice and wherever you end up working. The landscape of architectural practice has, though, changed over the last 3 or 4 decades, due mainly to technological innovation, of course, and the shift away from the private sector as the main generator of buildings. While the larger public projects are still paid for by government, they tend to be delivered by the private sector. For example, the new Royal Adelaide Hospital project. This has changed the way we work. When I graduated, the architect was always the leader of the design teams. Now, on all but smaller projects, the day of the architect as the principal member of the design team is over. While our craft-based skills and spatial intelligence sets us apart from other design professionals, we must draw on and collaborate with psychologists, builders, artists, economists, sociologists, etc., to achieve successful design outcomes. The days of the bow-tie wearing design guru are all but gone, except perhaps for the international so-called star-architects such as Geary, Foster, and Wren Koolhaas. And a quick aside about Geary, to quote a New York architect, Bruce Mao, it's an extraordinary group of people that make Frank Geary possible, and in the same way, he made them possible. So there's a reciprocal relationship. It's a collective in a collective relationship. Successful outcomes in architecture come from team efforts. It's time to recognise and celebrate the broad range of talent required to produce good architecture. We can't all be brilliant designers. In fact, that probably would be counterproductive. Our profession needs people who know how buildings go together. Schedulers, detailers, people who can develop briefs, people who can understand what clients want and put that into a language that can be understood, people who can draw, drive new technologies and so on. I'm sure Frank Gehry would agree with that. I recently read Rory Hyde's new book, Future Practice. I can recommend it to all of you. In it, he interviews over a dozen architects, actually 17, about their practice. The opportunities for you today are far more diverse and challenging than they were for me. 30 years ago, you went to university, got a job and designed buildings. Today, you can choose from an array of pathways. You can work for global companies, you can be urban activists, you can work collaboratively with other disciplines and indeed with one another. But first, of course, I encourage you to reflect on the values that you gained here and use those to inform and drive your choices. I would like to congratulate each and every one of you. It is indeed a great achievement to finish your degrees. And I think you should all congratulate yourselves. And in conclusion, I hope that you will take time to reflect on the values that drive and excite you. That is what will sustain you and help you make a contribution to architecture. Thank you.
On behalf of the graduates and their families attending this afternoon's ceremony, I would like to thank Mr. Steve Grieve for his stimulating and inspiring address. We are honoured that you have taken the time to join us on this special day to share with us your thoughts and experiences. Your words of encouragement and advice are greatly appreciated. They remind us that education places upon us upon each of us an enduring responsibility to make the best possible use of our talents and to contribute to the betterment of society in whichever way we can. Please join me in once again thanking Mr. Grieve.
I will now receive the candidates for degrees and I call on the Vice-Chancellor.
Chancellor, I, Professor Warren Bevington, Vice-Chancellor and President of the University of Adelaide, certify to you and the whole university that the graduates who will be presented to you have fulfilled all the conditions prescribed for admission to the awards for which they are so presented.
I, Robert Murray Hill, Chancellor of the University of Adelaide, by virtue of the power committed to me by the University, confirm that each graduate is admitted to the rank and privileges of a holder of the award in the University of Adelaide for which they are so presented. And I call on the Head of the School of Architecture and Built Environment to present the graduates.
Chancellor, I, Professor George Zelanti, present to you graduates from the School of Architecture and Built Environment. To the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for a thesis entitled Architectural Exchange in the 18th Century, a study of three cities, Istanbul, Aleppo and Lucknow, Elise Julian Camley. And for a thesis entitled Maps and Meanings, Urban Cartography and Urban Design, Julie Compson-Nichols. To the degree of Master of Architecture, Manale Abiad, Rameza Hani Ali, John David Belville, Brendan James Kappa, Ying Sun Chia, Alan Leslie Cooper, Leo Julian Cooper, Fiona Campbell Howe Doman, which one's that? Alex Catherine Dunbar, Brent Michael Eddy, Kane Andrew Feckner, Lana Greer, Rebecca Ann Hood. Rebecca also receives the Master of Landscape Architecture. Lao Chun Yin, Wee Jack Lee, Megan Ling, Ji Lee, Enoch Kang Yun Liu. Enoch also receives the Master of Landscape Architecture. Douglas Ming Fui Lim, Guzhong Lu, Erica Rose Lucas. Erica also receives the Master of Landscape Architecture. Mohammed Faiz bin Maslan, Matthew Bruce McCullum, Samuel Paul Murphy, Philippe Oliver Nowden, Georgina Ingrid Penhall, Jeremy Lloyd Scott, Sarah Ferdulis Suleiman, Daniel Lee Turner, Reese James Vincent. Reese also receives the Master of Landscape Architecture. Wanifa Wan Ahmad Nizar, Hui Wang, Stavros Zachariah, and Zhao Kun. To the degree of Master of Landscape Architecture, Matilda Jane Asser, Benjamin Scott Dewhurst, Yunfai Gao, Isabella Venice Buckby James, Lynn Ma, Jade Michelle Riddle, Stephanie Lexi Rogers. Stephanie also receives the Master of Planning Urban Design. James Wyville Thompson, Lone Hong Tri, and Zusheng Zheng. To the degree of Bachelor of Design Studies, Mohammed Hafiz bin Abdul Nasir, Naja Binti Adnan, Nadira Afia Binti Ahmad Hisham, Matthew Alfred, Jesper Marks Ankara, Aphrodite Agaropoulos, Peter Jark Ayres, Sarah Jane Bensomer, Taran Dibden Barclay, Katarina Bowman, Nicholas Andrew Boundy, Samuel Gregory Boyce, Corey Brown, Ellie Morgan Brown, Andrew Reese Chaplin, Bianca Louise Chenoweth, Daniel Michael Charlie, Christopher Yap Dung Seong, Sean Johnston Coughlin, Najia Arabella Christabel, Neil Lloyd Davies, Olivia Nicole De Palma, Nathan Sol Dowie, Katrina May Ellsworthy, Dave Michael Emerson, Enzo Nino Ferrara, Nicholas Galekis, William George Gormley, Charlotte Gregg, Emily Scott Hatfield, Xiaoming He, Yung Chan Hyun, Hanis Hafiza Binti Idris, Nufhazi Binti Ismail, Izati Nadia Binti Jailani, Oliver James Johnson, Maud Azid bin Kamarudin, Naomi King, Guo Huao Ko, Lam Ming Yung, Andrew Lee, Jessica Kate Lewig, Ryan Toby Lewis, Zixin Lau, James William MacDonald, Emily Kathleen Mays, Brendan Lewis MacDonald, Michelle Poen Ling, Nural Ain Bit Misman, Timothy Redding Moore, Ping Chen Ng, Tran Kip Nguyen, Kamal Arfin Norman, Ross Ian Oates. Ross also received a diploma in languages. Paulus Morris Pignata, James Rutherford Pratt, Stephanie Alexis Randall, Benjamin Thomas Regan, Falco Benedict Nando Ricard, Alan Romeo, Carly Sheepens, Asma Hani Binti Shaiful Anwar, Shuai Shrao, Yun Han So, Therese Torpy, Jessica Christine Vermeering, Rhiannon Haley Vine, Celeste Stephanie Walker, Wan Jarana Wan Aikshan, Shuman Wang, Taya Wang, Tanil Wildman, Guifin Wang, Lucia Figa Binti Yazid, Yong Yi Tian, Yishu Zheng, Xiaowei Zhang, Chancellor, that completes the graduates from my school.
I now call on Professor Grant Richardson to present the graduates from the Business School.
To the degree of Master of Accounting and Marketing, Yingwen Chang. Yating Ku. Fei He. Menqing Hu. Zoltang Huang. Tong Hu. Bao Ying Jiang, Ji Li, Yongqiu Liu, Chang Yun Li, Kong Liang, Yu Han Liu, Olive Marie Ocampo, Fei Pei, Richard Andrew Spark, Yan Su, Darren Tang, Liao Tong, Genwei Yuan, and Eugene Chow. To the degree of Master of Accounting and Performance Management, I present Chang Bebe. To the degree of Master of Applied Finance, I present Mohammed Fad Imran bin Nasari, Sao Chen Bian, Hong Hei Kao, Wu Chen, Chen Yang, Mimi Duong, Qin Kui Hao, Jiao Yushin, Si Li, Xiang Li, Yuanjun Liu, Min Ma, Tyrone Angelo Owen, Wen Song, Li Wang, Dongwan Wu, Yang Yang, Jan Ying, to the degree of Master of Finance and Business Economics, I present Qiuqi Liu, Eleftherios Pentelis Pavopoulos, Yufi Zhang, to the degree of Master of International Business, I present Chen Ching Gao, Eng Zhang Lin, Guan Min Hua, Li Lin. Li also receives a professional certificate in international trade. Ying Liu, to the degree of Master of Professional Accounting, I present Mich Sen Ge, Ji Yu Hu, Na Kei Hua, Wei Li, Jing Liang, Liang Yan Wen, Yan Li Liu, Dai Mo, Trin Kwok Yoon, Jing Ning, Kang Peng, Hui Shuang Wu, Wei Su, to the degree of Bachelor of Finance, I present Robert Mark Albanese. Robert also receives a Bachelor of Economics. Congratulations. Damien Dominic Moransky. Franz Christoph Baumgartner. Jiao Wei Kao. Rebecca Chow. Dylan Joshua Davey. Adrian Gino Dottore. Adrian also receives a Bachelor of Economics. Daniel Jacques Dujardin. Shang Guo. Xuan Guo. Ji Hao Go. Theodore Gollett. Rochelle Maria Gould, Maria I should say. Rochelle also receives a Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences. Gan Yu Gu. David Adrian Hodges. Ling Jin Hu. Yancy Huang. Christopher David Hughes. Yun Jiang, Shan Chi Lao, Trevor Yutsan Tak Lao, Xuan Liang, Yulong Liang, Jitong Liu, Tan Xin Liu, James Martindale, Douglas John Sidney McRosty. Douglas also receives a Bachelor of Economics. Jack Watson Miller. Jack also receives a Bachelor of Engineering with honours. Sydney Buxton Powell. Sean Chan. Rowan Neil Roth, Chi Shan, Ji Shi, James Michael Smolanko, Mamiza Zia Sabhani. Mamiza also receives a Bachelor of Economics. Hwao Mai Tan. Yingsum Ali Che, Alexander Walker. Alexander also receives a Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences. Hong Zhao Wang, Wang Yu, Michael Wu, Yu Zhou Wu, Yin Quan Wu, Jinwei Yi, Terence Tian Seng Yeo, Yu Meng Yao, and Jen Quing Zhu. this one there. Okay. To the degree of Bachelor of Finance International, I present An Huan T. Nguyen. Wang Su Choi. Jessica Louise Hart. And finally, June Zhu.
In concluding the ceremony, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the mace bearer, the musicians, and all staff and student volunteers who assisted in the organisation and running of the ceremony. I invite you all to light refreshments in the Eclipse function room on level 4 of the Union building on the lower level of the campus. The signage to direct you to the Union building where photographers, framing and other merchandise will be available. I have great pleasure in congratulating all the new graduates here today. As graduates of the University of Adelaide, you are also its alumni and ambassadors for the university. Over the years since the University of Adelaide was established, its alumni have made an enormous contribution to the community, both here and throughout the world. You have a stake in this great institution because the qualifications it has given you and your experience while here are yours for life. Your knowledge, friendship, active participation and interest in the university's ongoing development are very important to its continuing reputation and strength. I invite you to stay in contact with us via the online community, Adelaide Online, and you'll receive login details and a membership card over the next month. And I ask the new graduates to remain seated and the audience to stand and join with me in congratulating the graduates on their achievements. Will the audience remain standing and the graduates now please stand for the academic procession followed by the VIP guests and graduates, and I now declare this congregation to be adjourned.